Hey guys, Michael Pizzullo here, psychotherapist in West Hollywood. So if you talk to most gay men these days, you're going to hear a very similar complaint from a lot of them, which is they are sick and tired of Grindr, Scruff, Sniffies, whatever, all the hookup apps. And they're feeling as though they're not getting what they need out of these apps, but they're also not sure how to transition back to, real life dating and hooking up. So I want to give you a few ideas of how I think you can navigate that if you're in this position. So just for some context, I think app culture is not just a gay thing, right? It's in every community. Straight people use Tinder, Bumble, so on and so forth. But there's no question that in the gay community, hookup apps are really pervasive. If you're gay, you've probably been on them or you are on them. And I feel like a lot of people, while they really enjoy them and they're convenient and it's a great way to access, other guys you might want to date or hook up with, there is also this culture now of people feeling as though they just waste a lot of time on them. They just really are a time suck, and that they find themselves involved in endless conversations. I don't even know if you can call them conversations, but endless chats with multiple people that just kind of drag on and go nowhere. And sure, every once in a while, maybe they do have a good time and that's great, but the reward for how much time you're investing, I think a lot of guys are getting more and more frustrated with, especially because, again, the chemistry you have with someone on an app is very different than the chemistry you may have with them in person. And so there's a lot of disappointment there. But then we kind of go into this phase of, okay, so if I'm a gay man and I don't want to use apps, what do I do? Especially I think for younger guys too, who grew up with this, who maybe got on apps right away when they started dating and hooking up, and so they've never really had to navigate anything otherwise. So obviously, the obvious answer is, if I'm not going to meet people in the digital space, I'm going to have to meet them in real life. Goes without saying that that's the only other option as far as I'm aware. But I want to offer some ideas of what you might have to navigate when you get there, because it's obviously way easier said than done. So first and foremost, I think what you're going to encounter if you do try to, flirt and hook up and meet men in real life is social anxiety, which social anxiety is just part of life, right? We all want to fit in and be accepted, and it's a kind of pro-social thing, actually. It's like a, adaptive quality to want to fit in and to care about how I'm being perceived. But obviously, when you put yourself out there and put yourself in more social scenarios, especially in person, it's going to trigger that. So I would just expect that to happen rather than, trying to go out to a bar and just meet people and have zero cares in the world. I would expect to have some nerves and some anxiety about it. And hopefully maybe you can even reframe it as it being a little bit of fun or a good thing or a thrill. But don't be surprised if, you feel a little bit anxious about it because A, you're probably out of practice, and B, you're just human. And it's normal to feel a little bit nervous about, am I gonna be successful at this or not? The other thing is gonna be flirting, right? On apps, there's almost like a formula, of trade pics, trade stats, trade video, I don't know, whatever. There's different things that you can do that are very clear cut in terms of navigating an interaction. It's almost it feels like a template or an outline you can follow that's already designed for you. And you kind of get the hang of it pretty quickly once you've been on them. But in person, it's not like that. You go up to someone at a bar or a coffee shop, and there isn't a templated format of, you don't just go up to someone and ask them to trade pics with you. So I think the good thing is that you can be a little bit more creative and more personalized, and you don't have to just sort of follow a formula, but you're gonna have to figure out how you can flirt in a way that feels organic to you, and how to navigate that in a way that feels authentic and fun and genuine, because there isn't gonna be a script to follow. And I wouldn't really, rely on other people telling you how to flirt, because I think that will also come across as insincere and kind of contrived. You want it to be unique to you and authentic to your voice, so that the person gets to know you, The other thing too, and I think this is such a big misconception, is that, well, first of all, learning to be okay with rejection. No one likes rejection. No one does. But I think there's this big misconception that confident people never get rejected, therefore they're confident, and the reason that I feel insecure is because I'm getting rejected. And it's not like that. I think what it really is that confident people know that rejection is part of life for everyone. I've never met anyone in my entire life who's never been rejected. But they're okay with it, or at least they've made their peace with it. And when they do get rejected, they don't spiral and they don't fall into self-loathing. People that struggle with self-worth, I think they're really scanning for evidence that confirms their insecurities. And then when they get it, they focus on it and magnify it and obsess about it. So I would go into it thinking of, I don't know, in terms of like success rates of, if you hit on 10 people, like, I don't know, the odds of it being successful, maybe 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10, 2 out of 10, I don't know. But I wouldn't think of it as though my batting average has to be 100% for me to be successful at this. I would assume that, again, just like you're not interested in everyone, not everyone's going to be interested in you, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that anything's wrong with you or there's problems or anything like that. It's just part of life. And that, especially if you're in a big city where there's lots of options, I think it's going to promote people being pickier and being more selective. And so they may pass over you just because they're still shopping around that night and they haven't landed on their decision yet. So really just sort of depersonalize the rejection process and know that that's just okay and it's universal. And the last thing I would say really is letting go of control. When it comes to connecting with someone, there is just this chemistry and magic that has to happen and that you cannot manufacture yourself. And I think actually if you try to manufacture it, you're just gonna ruin it, So I wouldn't try to force the chemistry and think about what you can control. Your behavior can be putting yourself out there, meeting people, so on and so forth. But the other part that has to come from them and the chemistry that has to evolve between the two of you, I would let that happen. And I know when you want something, it can really elicit this sense of, I'm gonna go get it and I have a drive and I wanna make this happen. But I think the more you do that, you're actually gonna end up either forcing something to happen that's not actually organic and right for you, or you're just gonna ruin the moment. So I think a lot of this, I don't think you can manufacture love and connection. I think that just has to be there. So I would try to let go of controlling the process and just allow it to happen and focus just about putting yourself out there and how, confident you can be and how authentic you can be and those sorts of things, but let the rest of it go. Because I think that will just sabotage you in the end. So hope that was useful. For if you're a gay man thinking of going app-free, I think we're gonna see more and more of this soon. Because I think people are getting a little bit frustrated, and then who knows, maybe they'll change the apps around and then there'll be a resurgence. We'll see. So anyway, that's all I got. Curious to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think, and if you want to hear more from me, you can check out my website, michaelpizzulo.com. You can book a call with me, and yeah, just let me know your thoughts. Curious to hear from you guys. Thanks.